14 men, 5 planes, one clear afternoon, and then nothing. No wreckage, no bodies, no signal, as if the sky itself had swallowed them whole. December 5th, 1945, Naval Air Station, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The weather is perfect. Visibility unlimited. 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers take off at 2:10 in the afternoon for a routine training exercise. 14 experienced pilots and crew members. A 2-hour flight. Simple navigation. They had done it dozens of times before. At 3:45 p.m., the flight leader's voice crackled over the radio. What he said next has haunted investigators for 80 years. "We cannot see land. We are not sure of our position. Everything looks wrong. Even the ocean doesn't look as it should." This is Flight 19, and this is the Bermuda Triangle. Stretch a line from Miami, Florida. Pull it northeast to the island of Bermuda, then south down to Puerto Rico and back west to where you started. You've just drawn a shape that does not appear on any official navigation chart. No government recognizes it. No maritime authority has ever officially named it. And yet, for over a century, it has consumed ships, swallowed aircraft, and erased human beings from the face of the earth. The area covers roughly 500,000 square miles of the North Atlantic Ocean. It is one of the busiest shipping corridors on the planet. Hundreds of flights cross it every single day. Most arrive without incident, but the ones that don't, the ones that vanish, those are what pull us back here, again and again, searching for an answer that refuses to surface. The term Bermuda Triangle was first used in print in 1964 by writer Vincent Gaddis in a magazine called Argosy. But the disappearances he described had been piling up for decades before that. By the time the American public became obsessed with it in the 1970s, the list of missing vessels ran into the hundreds. Some were explained, most were not. And a few, like Flight 19, remain disturbingly open cases to this day. To understand what might be happening here, we first need to understand what this region actually is. The Bermuda Triangle sits at the edge of the Gulf Stream, one of the most powerful ocean currents on Earth. Water here moves at speeds of up to 5 miles per hour, fast enough to strip wreckage from a crash site and scatter it across the open Atlantic within hours. The seafloor beneath is extraordinarily complex. Shallow banks that drop without warning into trenches over 27,000 feet deep. Add to that some of the most volatile weather patterns in the world. Sudden storms that build in minutes. And you begin to see why the ocean here plays by different rules. But geography alone does not explain everything. Not the compass anomalies. Not the pilots who described instruments spinning for no reason. Not the boats found abandoned, engines running, meals still on the table, with not a soul aboard. The Bermuda Triangle is not just a dangerous stretch of water. It is a place where the rules of the ordinary world seem, at times, to quietly break down. March 1918. The USS Cyclops, a collier ship operated by the U.S. Navy. 309 people on board. Departing Barbados, heading for Baltimore. The weather was fine. The ship had no known mechanical problems. The captain filed no distress call. The USS Cyclops simply ceased to exist. It remains the single largest loss of life in U.S. naval history outside of direct combat. No wreckage has ever been found. No explanation has ever been confirmed. Then there is the Mary Celeste, found adrift in the Atlantic in 1872. Perfectly seaworthy, cargo intact, the captain's log open on the desk. The crew's belongings were untouched. Their food was still warm. 10 people, gone. No sign of struggle, no blood, no bodies. Just an empty ship sailing itself through the fog like a ghost that hadn't realized it was dead yet. Back to Flight 19. What happened in those final hours before silence is almost more unsettling than the disappearance itself. The flight leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, reported that his compass was malfunctioning. He believed, incorrectly, investigators would later suggest, that the squadron was flying over the Florida Keys, when in fact, they were likely over the Bahamas, heading east into open ocean. Radio communications degraded. The crew grew confused. And then, one by one, the transmissions stopped. A rescue aircraft sent to find them, a Martin Mariner with a crew of 13, also vanished. In a single afternoon, 27 men and 6 aircraft were consumed by the triangle without leaving so much as an oil slick. These cases are not isolated accidents. They form a pattern repeated across decades, across different crews, different technology, different weather. In 1948, a commercial airliner, Star Tiger, disappeared en route from the Azores to Bermuda. 31 people. The investigation concluded simply, the cause of the accident is unknown. The following year, another airliner on a nearly identical route, Star Aerial, vanished with 40 passengers. The inquiry reached the same verdict. We do not know what happened. We may never know. There are patterns beneath the surface, too, literally. In 1968, the submarine USS Scorpion went down in waters associated with the triangle's outer edge. 99 men. The wreckage was eventually found, but the cause of the sinking remains officially classified. Around the same time, sonar surveys of the shallow waters off the Bahamas began picking up something unexpected. Large rectangular formations on the seafloor, unnervingly geometric in shape. Were they natural limestone formations? Collapsed ancient structures? Something else entirely? Scientists still argue, but the photographs are difficult to look at without feeling a chill. And then there are the pilots who came back, the ones we rarely talk about. The ones who landed shaking, who described cockpits full of electrical fog, of instruments that spun wildly then snapped back to normal, of a strange magnetic pull that made the aircraft feel as though it was being held in place. One commercial pilot, flying a routine route through the triangle in the 1970s, reported that his entire instrument panel went blank for 11 minutes.